History remembers King Herod as the paranoid ruler of Judea, a man both feared and despised, known to Christians as the king who ordered the massacre of infants in Bethlehem, and to historians as a tyrant who clung desperately to power. But what many don't know is how he died. His end was so gruesome, so humiliating, that ancient physicians gave his disease a terrifying name: Herod's evil. Herod the Great wasn't just any ruler. Born around 73 BC, he rose to power with Roman support and became king of Judea. He was a brilliant builder, responsible for the great expansion of the Temple of Jerusalem and the fortress of Masada. But behind the marble and grandeur, Herod's reign was soaked in blood. His paranoia made him execute his own wives, sons, and relatives. To Herod, everyone was a potential rival. By the time he reached his 70s, he was both powerful and utterly alone. But fate was preparing a punishment for his cruelty. Ancient sources like Josephus describe Herod's health collapsing in horrifying detail. His body began to betray him. He developed an intense fever, painful abdominal swelling, and unbearable intestinal agony. But that was only the beginning. Soon, Herod suffered from ulcerated bowels that oozed pus, excruciating convulsions, and foul-smelling breath so putrid that even his closest attendants could not stay near him. And as if that weren't enough, his genitals became infested with worms crawling from ulcers and sores. Imagine the mighty king, once feared by nations, now rotting alive from the inside out. The pain drove Herod into madness. He screamed through the halls of his palace, lashing out at servants and doctors. Desperate for relief, he tried hot baths, potions, and every remedy of the ancient world. Nothing worked. At times, he begged for death. But in his paranoia, he also feared losing control. His cruelty only worsened. According to historians, he even ordered that upon his death, prominent Jewish leaders be executed, so that there would be mourning in Judea, even if no one mourned for him. Fortunately, this order was never carried out. Herod's condition became so infamous that doctors later referred to it as Herod's evil. Modern scholars believe it may have been a combination of chronic kidney disease, gangrene, and Fournier's gangrene, a rare but terrifying condition where infection devours the flesh around the genitals and abdomen. For weeks, Herod rotted alive, consumed by disease. His cries echoed in the palace as worms fed on his flesh. The king who once silenced nations could no longer silence his own suffering. In 4 BC, after weeks of agony, Herod finally died. His body was so decayed that mourners struggled to hide the stench. But his legacy lived on, not as the glorious builder he once hoped to be remembered as, but as a symbol of paranoia, cruelty, and divine punishment. To Christians, his gruesome death was seen as God's justice for the massacre of the innocent children of Bethlehem. To historians, it was a reminder that even kings cannot escape the slow, merciless hand of disease. Herod's story is more than history, it's a warning. A ruler who lived in fear, consumed by power, and finally devoured by his own flesh. The world remembered his death not as a passing of a king, but as a disease so vile, it bore his name. Subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.